Alright, so today we're going to be doing a Korean rice cake soup. Now, it's not a cake as in like the American cake. These are little sliced things. Anyway, I'll show you those here in just a minute. Wait, why don't I go ahead and show you? Bought these in Dallas. They're in a bag. They're just rice. Anyway, they've been sliced up. Mongchi has a nice video how you can actually make these homemade. I guess because I'm kind of doing a traditional thing, I should have done that. But I'm very lazy and I like using these. They work pretty good. So let's go ahead. I got some water here. I've already pre-measured because I put my pheasant in my pot when it was still in the bag to measure my water level. I know a lot of you are saying pheasant. Well, yeah, chicken's used nowadays, but traditionally instead of chicken they would have used pheasant. So anyway, there's my pheasant. I've already rinsed him off. I'm going to put him in the water. Hey, you need to sink. I'm not using the rest of the giblets, but I am going to throw the neck in there because I want a nice stock. Now, I've got a slice of ginger, 2 whole cloves of garlic. I want to use big pieces of stuff because that's all coming out. I've got 2 green onions that I've cut in half. I'm just going to throw that in there. We're going to cover our pot. We're going to bring this up to a boil and let him simmer until he's nice and tender so we can take the meat off the bones. Okay, as you can see, our pot's coming up to a boil. Now I want to skim off this scum. These little things here are pretty good for this. But you can just use a spoon if you want to. Now we're going to lower our heat. And we're just going to keep cooking this until it gets nice and tender. Alright. Whoa, babe. See how that's starting to pull away? Means we might be getting done. But whenever I poke into here, it's not quite done yet. It needs to go a little longer. But I do want to flip this guy over. This guy or gal, because I don't really know which one it is. Anyway, we're going to cook it until it's tender. Okay, I've got 2 eggs that I've separated the whites and the yolks because I'm going to cook them separate. You don't have to go to this extreme step if you don't want to. It just makes it pretty. That's all that this step is for. You can put you can do 2 eggs. Just do them one at a time. Kind of spread them out. Try to be careful not to tear this. And I don't really want to get any color on it. I want it to stay white. Just to make sure both sides are cooked. Alright, we're going to put our egg yolk in. Should release here in just a second. Almost ready. Flip that over, we turn the heat off. Alright. Basically done. Alright, so we've got our yellow. And we're not throwing this away, we're just kind of setting this up for the money shot, for the best presentation. Square the edges off. Now we're going to need to cut this into strips. Make sure to cut all the way through. Do the same with our white. Looks like I got plenty of white. Now, green onion. So I'm going after this part right here because I'm a bias. Anyway, that's what we're gonna present. Okay, so our bird's been cooking for a little while. It's a lot more tender now. I mean, it's not going to get super tender unless I just keep on cooking it. But anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this bird out of here and let it cool down so I can get the meat off the bones. Okay, just a quick note. I've got the rice cakes soaking in water because I bought the frozen ones. You got to soak them for at least 15 minutes or so. An hour or two is not going to hurt them. If you're using the fresh ones, you don't have to do that. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take all the meat off of the pheasant. I'm going to put it in the bowl, and all the bones are going to go, bone and skin and stuff like that, it's going to go back into the pot. Okay, the bones and everything are back on the stove, and they're going to simmer for about another half an hour or so, and that'll give us our soup. Now I've got the meat from the pheasant. Now one thing, when you're cleaning your pheasant, be careful. There are some very small, fine bones in there, and you don't want to serve those. Anyway, got some soy sauce here. I'm going to take about half a tablespoon. I'm going to take a little bit of sesame oil. I'm probably going to put like a quarter teaspoon or something in there. We're going to take a little bit of white pepper. And we're going to mix this up. And then we'll put this in the refrigerator and wait till we're ready to use it. Okay, our stock is basically done cooking. And I'm going to need to put this stock into this pot. Now, I don't want any bones or green onion or garlic or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to strain it through a sieve. It's not really a fine mesh or anything. It's just something to take out the big chunks because I want a nice clear broth. Anyway, I'll be back. Okay, so we've got our stock strained out. We're going to bring this back up to a boil. Now what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put a pinch of white pepper, a tablespoon of our soy sauce. We'll bring this up to a boil, and then we'll taste this to see if we need to put any more salt or anything in it. Alright, this is coming up to a boil. We're going to taste it. It's just a little bit bland, so we're going to put a little bit more soy sauce in here. So we're probably going to wind up with about 1.5 tablespoons. There we go, we'll stir that around. And then we're going to bring this up to a good rolling boil. Okay, we're coming up to a boil. Not quite where I want it to be, but anyway, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our rice cakes in. Now be careful, because they'll splash hot boiling broth all over you. Not exactly a pleasant experience. Now we're going to cook these until they soften up. It's going to take about 5 or 6 minutes. Now you know your rice cakes are done whenever they all start to float. Whenever they all start to float, give them another 30, give the pot another 30 seconds or so, and then they're done. You can take it off the heat, and then you're ready to serve. Oh, somebody's ready to eat, huh? And Abby's ready to eat. There we go. Now, we're going to take a mix of white and dark meat. Although with pheasant, there's not really white meat, there's dark and darker meat. There we go. That's our soup. Okay, so let's see how it tastes. Happy New Year.